everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Presley Mania. My name is Rhonda, and I thank you for joining in on my show today. I am going to be going over Priscilla's response to Bridget Cruz's second amended complaint in the case in Orange County, Florida, and I have got a lot of information for you guys. My apologies to all of you who follow me on a regular basis that I was not able to get a show uploaded last week. I was sick with strep, and between trying to keep things going with work and things at home, I just, by the end of the day, the last thing I felt like doing was talking about legal documents and trying to make sense of all of this. And trust me, y'all would not have wanted to have me try to do a show, because there's no telling what a mess I would have made with all of the information. So anyway, I'm going to get into this today, and we're going to talk about everything that's going on with this court case between Bridget and Priscilla on the Florida side. And you also know that Priscilla has filed a suit against Bridget in California. So we have got two lawsuits going on back and forth. I have not been able to obtain any information really on the California court case, but it is going to be a trial by jury, so hopefully we will be getting some kind of information and insight on that soon. But for now, for today, we're going to be talking about the one in Florida. So let's get started. Let me get a good drink of water because there's a whole lot of talking that's going to be going on. Okay. This is Priscilla Presley's attorney responding to Bridget's second amended complaint. There are statements from Priscilla in here, and this is what she states happened. Okay, and let me just say, if you have not seen any of these shows on what's going on between Bridget and Priscilla, go back onto Presley Mania, look, and just, you can look at the whole channel and everything that's there, and you will see where I did a show about all of these court cases. Actually, there's one that deals specifically with Bridget's second amended complaint, but you can go back and familiarize yourself with those if you need a refresher, or if you just flat are not in the know about what's going on. Okay, so here we go. First, the attorney tries to ascertain some factual background, and he says that they have stated it every time that Priscilla is a citizen of California, that she is not a citizen of Florida. And that's how they said it, a citizen. She is a citizen of California. Well, she's a resident of California. They were saying she has no residency in Florida, that she has made her permanent residence in her usual place of abode in California. Okay. And Bridget does not dispute that. She said she does realize and does know that Priscilla is living in Florida, but that doesn't take away from the fact that, according to Bridget, Priscilla had every intention of moving to Florida. So let's get into this. Okay. Under the factual background, it says Presley does not personally engage in substantial and not isolated activity in Florida. Over the years, Presley has participated in a few publicity and other events in Florida, which she also attends across the country. But she does not personally derive any significant annual revenue from Florida. Okay, well, let's talk about that for a minute. Bridget, in her second amended complaint, listed nine different places in Florida that Priscilla has been to, and she is doing her shows, An Evening with Priscilla, 9 different events where she was indeed paid to be there. She was there for work. So I don't know how much money she possibly has made at these events, but I'm thinking that it is a substantial amount. And that they're probably, if I were the judge, I would want to know, okay, exactly how much have you made? you know, I have a source, and I'm not going to disclose who it is, but my source was told that she makes approximately $100,000 per event. That is her fee to appear at an event. Whether this is accurate or not, I cannot state for sure, but let's just say that that's the case, okay? She's done 9 events there. That's $900,000. I don't know what world she's from, but in my world, $900,000 is substantial amount of money. It is. So how they can claim that it's not substantial, I don't know. Now, all of her events are not isolated to Florida. That is a given. That is true. But she has done 9 events in Florida. Okay, I'm going to skip through a lot of this jargon that I don't feel like has any importance to all of the things we've been going over. So we're going to get to the second thing that I found interesting. Okay. Priscilla's attorney says that Cruz, Fialco, and their co-conspirators attempted to secure total control over Presley's personal and professional life, which was and had always been centered in California. Okay. Indeed, as detailed in the California complaint, Cruz and Fialco had control of all the companies, set them up so they were the primary beneficiaries, and then siphoned out hundreds of thousands of dollars. In August 2024, this trickery and deceit came to a halt when Presley revoked Cruz's power of attorney, issued a cease and desist letter ordering Cruz to terminate any and all activity on behalf of Presley, and demanded that Cruz and Fialco account for and deliver to Presley any monies received or expended. To date, Cruz has failed to return a dime, pocketing hundreds of thousands and forcing Presley to sue Cruz in California to protect her interests. Okay, well, let's go back. In the very beginning, when Bridget filed the suit against Priscilla, she claimed that Priscilla had taken at least $500,000 from them. Okay? But yet, Priscilla waits for almost a year before she files a suit in California against Bridget, until after Bridget has filed suit against her, saying that Bridget took hundreds of thousands of dollars from her? Really? If that's the case, why didn't she file suit against her in the very beginning? It sounds retaliatory to me. It's like, oh, I've got to do something or I'm going to have to pay her all this money. This is opinion according to Rhonda, so y'all remember that. But I'm just saying, does that not sound logical? That if someone had defrauded you, had elder abused you, taken your money, done all of this stuff, don't you think you would have been the first one to do the lawsuit and not the other way around? Food for thought. Okay. All right. And I also would like to state what power and authority Bridget and Kevin Fialco must have had over Priscilla Presley, in that they were able to just totally take over control of her personal and professional life. Does Priscilla not have any control over her own self? I beg to differ. Okay, let's go on to item number 3. Okay, this one's interesting because I find it strange that Priscilla doesn't deny allegations. Okay, listen to this. It is simply irrelevant whether Presley has relatives who live or own homes in Florida, or whether Presley made a couple of personal visits to Florida. It is irrelevant whether Presley had a purported intention to move to Florida. While false, plaintiffs admit she never did. In contrast to plaintiffs' allegations, Presley does not own property in Florida and only visited the property Cruz made her rent once, which Presley thought she was an invited guest. Okay, let's go back. Bridget states, okay, we're going to get to this second. We're going to go to this first. It says it is irrelevant whether Presley has relatives who live in Florida or not. Remember the so-called grandchild that she has in Florida that she wanted to move to Florida, according to Bridget, to be closer to spend more time with? The grandchild that we don't have a lot of information about. We have some. But she doesn't deny it. She's not denying that she has a grandchild in Florida. She's saying it is irrelevant. Okay? She's also saying it is irrelevant whether she planned to move to Florida or not. Although she's saying that Bridget and Kevin Fialco are lying, that she never intended to. Okay, well, if she never intended to, then why in the world did she lease a house? If you don't intend to live somewhere, why do you lease a house? Or at the very least, if you do not intend to be there on a more regular basis, be it a second home or a vacation home, why would you lease a property that you have no intention of ever coming back to? And they said that Cruz made her pay rent once. Well, she signed a 5-year lease. 5 years. Not only that, Cruz states in her complaint and in her documentation that Priscilla asked her to get her things. She has several things in a storage unit in California, to get them and move them to Florida to go into this new property. If someone you knew was going to move into a house that you leased, would you be giving them your things to put into it? Don't you think they would have their own things to go into the house? I mean, none of this makes any sense to me. It sounds more logical that Priscilla indeed leased a property in Florida. She leased a property, told Cruz, get the stuff out of my storage that I have here in California and get it moved and get the house set up. It sounds like she had every intention to move there. And again, why would you sign a 5-year lease if you have no intention of moving? Okay, let's go on. Let's also talk about the fact that Priscilla claims that she owns no property there, okay? Well, according to Bridget, in her second amended complaint on page 5, item number 14, it says that Presley is also engaged in extensive business activities in Florida. Indeed, The majority of her business engagements are there. Well, we've already talked about she's done 9. Presley has owned real estate in Florida for over 20 years and is an investor in a Florida trailer park. So, Bridget establishes in her complaint that Priscilla does indeed have business ties to Florida, that she indeed has real estate in Florida that she has had for over 20 years, and that she is an investor in a Florida trailer park. So, what Priscilla's lawyers are trying to do, the way I understand it, and the reason they're not denying what Bridget says, they're saying it's irrelevant, is because their goal is to prove that Florida has no control over Priscilla because Priscilla is a California resident, not a Florida resident. But Priscilla signed incorporation agreements for 4 different corporations, and I have the documents. I pulled them from Orange County, Florida's website, the criminal court division. I pulled them from there, and her signature is over on all of the documents, and they have been notarized on top of it all. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out with the fact that Priscilla's a California resident, that the documents were signed in Florida, and the businesses were supposed to be operating in Florida, and yet the incorporation of the businesses is in Delaware. So they're a Delaware limited liability corporation, but they were formed in Florida. Priscilla lives in California, and they're saying that Florida has no jurisdiction over Priscilla. That's what they're hoping. That's what they're hanging their hat on that gets this case dismissed, is that Florida has no control over Priscilla. But I don't see how that's going to fly, because I would think if you sign your name to a company, regardless of where you live, regardless of where the business is, you're still a part of that corporation, and you still are liable for what goes on within it, regardless of the fact that she was a minority owner, right? Just because she is an investor in a Florida trailer park doesn't make her any less of a part of being an owner or an investor in the trailer park, right? She's still part of it. So I don't know how you separate the two. This may come into a lot of legal information that I don't have any knowledge of at all. I'm just trying to look at this from a perspective of what makes sense, logically speaking. All right. Let's go on to this falls under the Presley is not subject to specific jurisdiction, and they say the complaint fails to state a claim. Okay, well, I think the complaint stated a lot of claims, but let's go on. It says that in counts 1 through 3 of Bridget's second amended complaint, that they state conversion claims based on Presley's purported closure of and misappropriation of funds from those entities' bank accounts. And then they state 3 reasons why they fell. So we're going to skip over most of those, but I want to remind y'all, I'm going to tell you what the second one is because this is what stood out to me. But what I want to remind you is, remember when we went through Bridget's second amended complaint, she states that Priscilla took money, closed out the bank accounts for the corporations that they all formed together, okay? And that Priscilla, even though she was a signer on the bank accounts, according to the company contracts and arrangements and things that have been made in the bylaws of the company, she did not have authorization to take the money. This is what they say. Second, as shown by Presley's fourth declaration, the total amount of funds in the bank accounts at issue at the time they were closed was $2,765.60. And they keep referencing Priscilla's fourth declaration. Priscilla's fourth declaration states that she does not have residency in Florida. It says, I do not own property in Florida. So they're saying it shouldn't matter that she took the money. Okay, but they go on and they say that the amount is below the jurisdictional minimum for this court, and thus, to the extent the court dismisses plaintiff's other claims, the court does not even have subject matter jurisdiction to address these remaining claims. It lists some other court cases to state their, why they're saying this. Then it says here, Presley disputes that the monies allegedly withdrawn were in Florida, or that the accounts are Florida bank accounts. On the contrary, these accounts were opened in California and at all times were California accounts. The accounts do not become Florida bank accounts simply because the bank has a Florida branch. Regardless, Presley did not withdraw these funds in Florida. Okay. So they set up, let's say it's a Bank of America, or it's a Chase, or some other bank that has multiple branches all over the United States. Okay, this is my thought process here. Okay, so you set the bank account up in California. It doesn't make it any less of a bank account, right? Even though they're going to be based out of Florida, there are branches all over that they can bank at and make deposits. So what difference does it matter where the account was opened? Now, if some of you have more legal knowledge on this than I do, please feel free to expound and tell me. I'm always open to learn. But to me, it doesn't make any difference. The money was not Priscilla's to withdraw. She was not a minority owner, which is one of the things they keep talking about here. But according to what was written in the incorporation papers that she signed, and how their bylaws or their whatever, and how they were going to do business, Priscilla was a signer on the bank account, but she was not authorized to take the money, which seems weird to me. I mean, if you're authorized to sign, you would think that you'd be authorized to take money as well. But she closed out the bank accounts. What else is funny here to me is they aren't disputing the fact that she took the money. No, they're saying it doesn't matter because it wasn't a substantial enough amount for them to claim, and that they were California bank accounts and the businesses are in Florida. It doesn't matter that she took the money. She's not denying that she took it, but she took the money. She's claiming Bridget owes her all of this money. So she goes and she does this, but it's not adding up. 1 + 1 isn't equaling 2 to me. It's equaling more like 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know, in this instance, in Priscilla's mind. I don't get what she's thinking. So on her answers, she's not denying that she's done any of this. She's just saying it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it doesn't apply to me. That's kind of been her whole thing since the very beginning. Since the time with Elvis and their divorce, all of the stuff that we went through with Lisa's. Let's talk about the Joe Esposito information when he had the videos. I want to get into all that someday, but he had these home movies and stuff, and he got sued by Elvis Presley Enterprises, and I guess it was Priscilla's final decision as to what was done with that, and cost him all kinds of money, and was her final decision. She doesn't care. Bottom line is, Priscilla cares about Priscilla. And her saying that Bridget and Kevin Fialco tried to alienate her from all of her people and her financial advisors, she's not taking any responsibility for this. That it was like she was just a little lost puppy following along on their leash, you know? It's so it's just so crazy and dumb to me. I'm just trying to figure out how to put this exactly into words. It's like, is she claiming elder abuse because she's losing it up here? But that doesn't make sense either, because she has always used that excuse. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, it was their fault. It wasn't mine. I had no idea. Even when she was young and divorced Elvis, then in the suit against Lisa's trust with Riley, and I could name lots of other ones as well. Like I said, Joe Esposito. It's never Priscilla's fault. I know this video is a little longer, but I wanted to go over some of Priscilla's declarations because I find them interesting. Especially the declaration of Priscilla Presley. There's like item number 3. She says that Miss Cruz alleges that I retained Lynn Walker Wright, a Florida attorney, to draft certain documents after I purportedly had worked with Wright on what Miss Cruz refers to as legal issues with my daughter Lisa Marie Presley. Nothing could be further from the truth. Okay, well, Priscilla is claiming that Lynn Walker Wright is a friend of Bridget's, and that, you know, she really basically had no dealings with her until she signed the documents for these 4 corporations. Bridget says that is not true. That Priscilla was going through several different potential lawsuits. One with Lisa Marie, and then there was another one with another guy who supposedly was in prison. I don't know what that's all about. But she had met with Lynn Walker Wright to help her get these potential lawsuits taken care of. So when she met with her, if that is true, when she met with her to sign these incorporation papers, she already knew her. It wasn't her first merry-go-round ride with Lynn Walker Wright. No, she was familiar with her. She knew her. I don't know how she's going to dispute that one. And Lynn Walker Wright videotaped the whole signing. So they have that too. So I guess we will see how all of this plays out. She said, she again states that she was isolated from all of her advisors to sign a series of agreements, one after the other, with little or no explanation of the contents of each agreement. Okay, then why in the world did you not ask? If I'm going to sign my name to something that is going to make me be legally bound, I'm going to ask questions if I don't understand it. What do you mean by that? What exactly am I signing? What does this give them rights to? Not once does she even acknowledge the fact that she lied to Bridget and to Kevin Fialco about the fact that she had already previously sold her name, image, and likeness. Not only had she previously, many, many years before, sold her name, image, and likeness, she got the biggest payday she had ever received in her life from doing so. But does she bother to tell them that? They didn't know. No, she didn't. Because she was hoping this would work to her benefit. And when it didn't work to her benefit, or when she had a little bit of money in her pocket. And when did that happen? Because she had Bridget and Kevin Fialco working to help her settle the suit with Riley. And we all know that she walked away with money from Riley. And when she got that, she told Kevin and she told Bridget, sayonara, see you later. I don't need you anymore. And then she came up with all of this nonsense about how they coerced her and they elder abused her. Do y'all see the pattern? It's huge. It's unbelievable. I wanted to go over one more thing. Again, I apologize. This one's going a little longer than normal. But I wanted to go over some of the requests that Bridget has made of Priscilla to provide. Okay? She wants Priscilla to provide the residential lease between Voss Sicilin, I can't even say his name, it's Bridget's husband, and Priscilla Beaulieu Presley entered into on January 1st. She wants account statements from Priscilla at various banks. She wants an email dated June 13th, 2023. Email Bridget Cruz to Eliza Thurston. She wants, in the email from Eliza Thurston to Bridget Cruz, let's see her look at this. She wants the text from Priscilla to Bridget. She's asking for a lot of things. I guess to prove what she's asking and what she's stating in her her suit against Priscilla. So I'm sitting here looking at these to make sure that I explain that. Oh, it's an exhibit list. It's the exhibit list of things that they are providing, that Bridget is providing, is what it looks like to me. I hope I haven't misspoke on this. They are things that it says offering party is the plaintiffs, which would be Bridget and Kevin Fialco and their corporations. These are things that they are offering up. So they're showing proof about the lease. I guess they have account statements so they can back up their claims. They want to show the text that they received from Priscilla. There was one on here that I found really interesting. They've got stuff on here regarding their text exchanges about forming the Scylla Corporation, text exchanges regarding power of attorney, declarations, all kinds of things. All kinds of things are on here. And they're providing it, and they're going to show it, I guess, as proof for their claims. So, and Priscilla has also provided information for them. So we shall see. We shall see what happens. But this, I'm telling y'all, is a tangled web. And every time something comes out, it just becomes more and more interwoven, and it's getting all tangled up, and it is the biggest rat's nest I've ever seen. And this doesn't even touch what's going on in California, but they're all tied together. I hope that I can somehow manage to get a hold of some of that information on the suit in California, but I have not had any luck with that so far. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this segment of Presley Mania. It is Thanksgiving week. I wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I hope that you enjoy your time with your family. For those of you who are here in the States, it's our Thanksgiving week, y'all know. So anyway, I've got family already here. I am looking forward to spending time with all of them, and it's just a wonderful, joyous time for us. Thank you all for joining me again today, and if you like what you saw, be sure and subscribe to my channel. And as always, remember, you only get one shot at this life, so live each day to the fullest, because we never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Until next time, bye everybody.
Thank you.